Hello, everybody. Paul Vibes here. We have my brother, TJ.
Thank you for having me, Paul.
Yes. It's funny. You're one of the few people who have been brought up in other people's podcasts. So it's cool to see like the influence and the way that you've impacted other people's lives. It's amazing.
In every event that I've ever went that you've had, I've met some great people. Yeah. Some I consider people in our family. And there's so many good connections. I love what you're doing in the community. I'm just psyched to be here with you.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. You're great at coming and supporting the events, and you're also great at connecting with people. And it's cool whether it's Teresa, Danielle, Trenches. There's so many cool people that you're great at supporting other people. You're very generous. You're very supported. You're just a great brother and friend to myself and many others. And it's a privilege to share space here, and we're going to be diving into the many different offerings that you have. And, I'm excited also to talk to you about your spiritual journey. With everything you do, I feel like there's always a big spiritual aspect, and you're really great at getting people present, whether it's with their bodies or their mind. Have you always felt really tapped into that, or was that more something that happened along the way for you? Or I'm curious to learn about that.
When I was a young kid, I grew up with a single parent mother who worked quite often. So I would have a lot of time alone, and I would listen to a lot of music, all different types of music. And I would do all these little projects and stuff by myself. And I found that I would get like super laser focused when I would do these projects, creative projects, or weight training. I had a mentor, a football coach, who would pick me up in the morning, made sure I was going to school. I got involved in drugs very young, and he seen some potential in me. He turned me on to weight training, and weight training was like my first experience being present, and I guess what people would call a meditation. So I'd be all over the place in school and everything else. But if you gave me a barbell, I was able to put 100% focus on getting that bar up or stimulating the muscle in a way. And it was a form of therapy for me throughout my entire life. So I got to the point where when I was going to Adelphi, I was going to school to be a health and phys ed teacher.
I went to Adelphi too, by the way.
Nice. Panthers, baby.
Yeah.
And I was on the lacrosse team. We won a national championship, and I ended up having some knee issues. I had to get some knee surgery. And I met an older gentleman by the name of Steve Mahalik. He was 55 at the time. And he mentored me for 4 months of my life. He taught me how to train, which was much different from working out. And he taught me the power of your mind and energy, how energy cannot be destroyed or created. It's ever flowing here for us. And he just pushed me to a whole nother level. But when I was very young, we had an unbelievable Long Island hardcore scene, or there would this place, PWAC. I'd be a 14, 15-year-old kid. We would go to this place in Lindenhurst, and there would be like a hardcore band, a punk rock band, an emo band, and there was one band, H2O. And I loved their music, but they taught about the PMA, which was the positive mental attitude. And I was always drawn to uplifting, positive people. I just was able to pick up on people's energy as a real young kid. I know whether you were a person of integrity, you were going to harm someone, or if you had good intentions, and the positive mental attitude stuck with me. PMA, I took that on for life. The more I got into it, the more I said, not everybody is so positive. Most people are focused on their problems, when I looked at problems as opportunities for growth. And, I had a series of unfortunate events that kind of turned my life around. And most of my life, I ran from the church and things like that because seeing like other Christians like who claimed to, love Jesus and all this, but they weren't happy.
Mm.
The more I got to see this, I was like, wow, how could you be saved by the creator of love and not have like a thriving marriage or things like that?
Or enjoy life.
I just watched my mom go through some pretty rough relationships and deal with some mental illness and stuff. And I just learned a lot from unfortunate events, which molded me into the man who I am today.
Sounds like mentors have been an important part of your life. And I feel like what you do now, like you're a mentor to so many people, whether it's spiritually, whether it's through your music, whether it's in the gym. And I even felt that energy with you. You give off a lot of like mentor supportive energy where you want to help people. And you think that comes from especially your first coach, right?
Oh yeah. Growing up without a father, I always looked towards male role models. And I had a coach, Hans Whitaker. Hans, I love you, brother. He spoke words of life over me. And I had some really amazing coaches. I find great joy in helping other people.
You have that kind of big brother supportive energy. I'm sure you've been told that before.
Awesome.
Once or twice, maybe. But, you always have such a generous, supportive, just very wholesome, speaking to not just the men in the community, but the women. And like I said, you're mentioned in Teresa's podcast, but even the women, they just feel like this really safe energy around you. So I wanted to share that with you.
Oh, that's great to hear. Growing up with a single parent mother and having a daughter and 3 sisters, I take tremendous joy in empowering women. And then men who are coachable. Most men are not. Most men don't want to learn. They want to confirm what they already know. And I was one of those guys too. So I find that myself, I get just tremendous satisfaction helping others. Being a trainer for close to 25 years, I found that helping others just fills my tank, and I'm big on words. I like to change the story that people say, because most people don't even know what they don't know. And they've programmed their mind over the years, over and over, to speak in a way that's not always in their best interests. So I have a purpose in my heart to make sure that people speak kindly on themselves.
I appreciate you sharing that to watching.
Like, how many people consider themselves a blessing? Very few people will ever say that I'm a blessing. For many years, I struggled with my self-esteem and poor body image. And it's no way to live, because it eats you up from the inside out. And I'm convinced that's how we develop
Diseases, right?
Diseases, cancers, heart attacks,
mental health stuff. Right?
I have not been sick in a decade. When I feel something coming on, I'm going in the plunge. I'm training through
my body's,
I don't get sick. Right? I don't get sick. I speak that over me.
Wow.
So your words have real power. Words become things.
Yeah.
You are what you think. No, your words have power. Is something that I truly go by, and I like to teach others that.
Yeah. I want to talk too about, I know you incorporate a lot of the mental game with fitness, and I want to talk about, because you have a beautiful gym, which has an amazing cold plunge, which I'm going to hopefully get a good workout in cold plunge next week. But you have such great space, and I feel like it's always growing and evolving. You're always putting up different artwork. I really want to dive into the gym that you have and what you offer there, if you could talk about that, because I think that could add a lot of value.
Being a trainer for 23 years now and working for other people, I wanted to create a space which was so much more than a gym. It was like a healing center, because for years I've trained people and improved their outer appearance and made them aware of things, but I found that true growth takes place from the inside out. And it doesn't matter how good you look on the outside. Real growth, real, true, permanent change takes place on the inside. So I wanted to create a gym where people don't work out, but train their mind, train their body, train their spirit. And over the years, I've made all the mistakes. Most people work out. they go from point A to point B and they get through it. I teach people how to train with intention, train with a purpose. Every single movement that we do, we are in control of that movement.
Yeah.
We lift the weights. We're the cause of the movement rather than being a weightlifter and just pushing weight around. So I have a structure with everything. I like to teach people how to train properly. So when I'm not with them, I'm always in their head. And I work with a lot of different trainers who provided me with a workout and push me to exhaustion, but that's not what it's about. About connecting with the muscle, stimulating, not annihilating, each and every repetition, earning the right to move to the next rep by perfecting the previous one, connecting with your body, supplying your brain with oxygen in a way, and really feeling it all. And when you train properly, no matter what you have going on in your life, it gets oxygen to your brain. It helps you to feel and deal with any challenging you're facing in a healthy way. And most people, they don't see it like that. You know, people are pushing hard. I like to teach people, whoa, let's take that intensity you have, slow it down a little bit.
Channel it, yeah.
Connect. Every repetition is an opportunity to connect and grow. So I teach people how to create perfect reps, how to earn the right to move to the next rep by perfecting the previous one, but manipulating the muscle, strengthening the mind in a way. And then once you understand this and you learn it and you see the value in the service and how it's going to improve every aspect of your health, mental, physical, spiritual, emotional, financial, social, it's the best investment you could possibly make. But it's one thing to provide a service. But like I didn't feel worthy in the past. Most people, they don't feel worthy of it. So I show people how you are worth it. Wow. You are worth investing in your overall health, and how when you train properly, it improves every aspect of your overall health, your relationships. You get stronger from the inside out. You anti-age. You know,
It's just a good plug for your new song.
Yeah. A new song coming out Monday.
Yes. Hello, everybody. Thank you for watching VIBECAST. We just want to take a quick moment to thank some of the really special sponsors that made season 1 possible. Over here, we have Kozar, which is a really beautiful nasal inhaler that's made from all natural and organic ingredients. Really helps to open your pathways. They make some for pain relief, some for energy, some for focus, and even some essential oil blends in there that actually help you relax and sleep. We have I Am Healing Nature. They have some amazing herb and tea blends that can help your body fight whatever you're going through, especially during the winter time. They also have some great energy blends and detoxing blends. Over here, we have STEM Social, another great sponsor. They have some amazing blends that can help you with endurance, focus, energy. If you're interested in learning more about mushrooms in any way, we highly recommend that you check them out. We also have Roots Kava Bar in Port Jefferson. If you're looking for a setting to socialize and connect with people in the wellness community and you're not interested in going to a typical bar, they offer some amazing alternatives like kava, which can help you relax without being hungover and intoxicated. And it's also a great community hub to meet some really beautiful people. We want to thank you again to all the people watching the podcast. Thank you to our sponsors. Now back to the podcast. I love, and this is actually a good segue to music, because I feel like just as you have this, you're very intentional with the way that you train people. You're very intentional with the way that you support people in the gym and how much it relates to your mental and spiritual health. I also feel like when you're worshiping, or when you're performing, your music has like a very worship, uplifting energy. Yeah, I get that at least in music, and I would love for you to take some time to talk about your music, because I think it's such, and I love how you play it at the gym. You play it at the gym, and it's like it goes really well.
Oh yeah. Having some highs and lows throughout my life, music was always an outlet for me. And I found that, like, man, people are like, oh, you got anger issues. I'm like, no, I just listened to a lot of Pantera growing up and Hatebreed, and like I would get fired up from like these hardcore bands who were like very aggressive. But then whoa, I listened to reggae. Whoa, reggae, man. Why am I so happy? Or some worship music and just some different positive, uplifting music. So when I went through a series of really rough events, I got a job as a police officer at 37 years old, which I was forced to resign over some nonsense. And then I got blindsided with divorce, and I had major surgery. Both of my adductor muscles ripped off, and my mom passed away suddenly at 65. It was 10 days after her 65th birthday. So this all happened in 1 year. And I didn't know how to deal with that grief. In the past, I knew how to train it out, suck it up. But sucking it up and being tough actually led me to almost committing suicide. Oh, wow. So I asked for help. I hired a coach, a therapist, in addition to a trainer and a pastor. And I learned how to meditate, which is different from prayer. I've always had a good connection with God. But when I learned how to meditate, that allowed me to just pause and process each emotion as it came and experience each experience as it came. Where in the past, I didn't even realize, but I would have all this stored emotion. One of my mentors, Joel Silverman, he rest in peace, one of the most incredible men. I went in to see him, and he had me write down what I was feeling. I said, I'm frustrated and angry. And he gave me a feelings list of 100 feelings. And he left the room and he said, I want you to circle each one that you have. I had 87 undealt with emotions that I wasn't even aware of. So he taught me how to process each one. And in the past, I didn't have that skill. That's a skill that we have to practice, especially as men. Oftentimes we will act and then think. And we don't have that pause, that space. Yeah. And where meditation comes in and training comes in and just breathing allows you to have that power, that pause, and that little space where you can process and feel and heal in a positive way.
Wow. It's so true. I feel like we're always in a constant state of reaction, and we give up our power, control, and we don't realize how much power we do have. And it sounds like the theme of what you're saying throughout the podcast is rewiring your words and rewording things in a empowering way. Because the truth is, whether it's your life, my life, or people watching this, there's so much that you could dwell on. There's so much to ruminate on and to be depressed about. We all have it. I mean, look at the world we live in. But I feel like there's also so much to be positive for. And then use that energy to then interact with your other situations you have going on. And I feel that way when I see you. When I see you at the events and the way that you conduct yourself, you're always bringing good energy. Just no matter what you have going on behind the scenes, you have this very uplifting, supportive energy that you bring to the table.
And that's a choice that I make, because it's one thing, I'm not elevated all the time. You know what I mean? I'm not elevated all the time, but I don't stay down long either. You know what I mean? And what I'm finding with this generation, which I love how so many people are able to express their feelings in a healthy way, but you are not your feelings. All right? If I went by my feelings, I'd be smacking people in the face every day. Not right? Like we are not our feelings, but we need to be aware of our feelings. So,
something I just want to add to that, I think another issue with my generation and younger is that everybody's offended by everything, and everyone is worried about offending everybody. And there's you got to be a certain way, and you got to walk on eggshells around people. You can't hurt their feelings, and you can't speak how you feel because you're afraid of everybody. And I don't know if you agree with me on that. Do you see that happen in the world too, where there's an oversensitivity to things as well?
Absolutely. Which it's good to be sensitive and feel and connect, but we're like fine-tuned race cars. And most people, they are off their feelings wheel. When you want to be grounded in your real axle, on your values and integrity, and you want to feel your feelings, but you don't want to always act off them, So I teach people how to connect with each emotion as it comes, but be grounded. This is fruits of the spirit, we call it. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, gentleness, self-control. But often people leave out long suffering. And when you suffer, that's when you grow.
We spoke about this.
That's when you grow, So when you have these times when you feel down, or when people say, oh, I'm depressed, blah, 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 blah. Now you want to feel. That is the opportunity to grow. That's to draw closer to your God, to connect, to have faith and persevere. Faith builds perseverance, so you can be complete and not lacking in anything. So when I'm struggling or triggered by someone, instead of reacting, I said, what am I learning from this? I'm thankful. I remember you sharing some things with me. I said, Paul, I'm happy that you're going through this. And I think at first you were like, oh, and I said, this is an opportunity for growth, brother. This is an opportunity to grow. And it's, the older we get, the more
things happen.
Stuff we have, We all have crap. Some stuff is really messy. Some is powerful, but the way you deal with that crap, most people have the poor me attitude. Why is this happening to me? No, this is happening for you.
Yeah.
I learned that there's two types of people. There's people who are victims, and there's people who are accountable. And when you take accountability and do everything in your power to grow through that, rather than just get through it, to grow through it, you're going to come out stronger in every single aspect of your overall health. So oftentimes what you call problems that you're facing is actually opportunities for you to grow. And once you grow and you process through that and you experience that pain, that discomfort, you're going to be equipped to help others who are also going to go through that. And now being, in my mid-40s, I am so clear where I've processed through so many different things, hard times where, I just have a purpose in my heart to help other people, who are also going through that stuff. And I could feel that in others. You can't bullshit me. I could see right through people. And it's amazing when I have the opportunity to work with people whose heart is open, and they have an open heart and open mind, and they're coachable. And I just love that, man, women, no matter what age, And so I have the whole physical, with the gym and getting into the sound therapy recently, the breath work, the cold plunge, and the music. I just started singing the night of my mom's funeral. Wow. Yeah. So, when I was married, my wife at the time hated my voice. I was singing in the car, I'm like, oh, something's horrible. But I love singing. I would go on these road trips and I'd be singing, and I would find I only recharge alone. With my job, I'd be around people, and then I would go on these road trips to pick up equipment. And I would come back so recharged. And although an extrovert, I learned that I only charge as an introvert. And that's how a lot of people are. But when they're married or in the relationships, they don't get that space. So it's very important that you understand how you recharge as a man and woman as you get older, and that you take every opportunity to make sure you recharge, because if you don't take care of yourself, good for anyone.
You can't serve others.
I've always smiled. I can't help smiling. Even when someone would get hurt, I'd be like, I'm not laughing. I couldn't help it. I was just and then laughing, when you laugh real hard, I call them charges. When you laugh,
you get a good laugh.
You belly laugh so hard that you can't do nothing but laugh. That's one of my favorite things. So I want to bring a smile to people's face. But me going through my stuff, there was a while there where I wanted to take my life in 2016.
Wow.
I almost threw myself in front of a train, and I was very tempted to jump off a building at one point. I was on my friend's balcony, and I was just fearless. And I just heard my daughter's voice. My daddy committed suicide at 10 years old. My daddy committed suicide at 20 years old. my dad committed suicide. And each voice was like an older woman, and I got off and I like barricaded my friend's door. And the next day I said, listen, can you go to this church with me? I said, I'm not in a good space. And then the next day I went to this church, and they had this music that just opened up my heart. I was like, oh man, I can't believe there's a church like this. And I asked Christ into my heart. And ever since then, my life did not get easier. It's just that I have a faith that's unwavering. And I learned how to love. My love was always conditional. And now I learn how love is an action and a choice that you make daily. And in the past, I knew religion. I didn't know relationship. I would speak the name of Jesus, and I would think of condemnation and things I can't do. And now, when I speak the name of Jesus, he's like my best friend. Mm-hmm. He's my homeboy. He's there for me. So in the music, I just put that love into it, and I make it for everyone, whatever your belief is. And I do a combination of rock, some reggae. They're all love songs, some dance music, and just music, whether you like it or not, it'll be stuck in your head.
Yeah. And I feel that when I hear your music and you share on social media or at the gym, it's got like very empowering energy. And you feel good listening to it. You really do. You really do. I think, as we start to wrap up this podcast, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to share, where people can connect with you to learn more and to reach out to you regarding some of the things that you shared. Where are you most active?
Social media is interesting because I'm on social media quite a bit. TJ Lynch 777, and there you can find the links to my gym, my artwork, my music. But my studio is in West Islip, and my music you can find under my name, TJ Lynch, on any music platform. We got some really awesome songs coming out. Monday, 11/11. We're going to have a real high-powered, uplifting rock song. And 10 days later, there's an acoustic-ish version of that song. By the end of the year, I'll have my first guided meditation. It's called Grounded, where it's an interactive song. And then I love doing things that bring me great joy. So I love creating music. I love creating art and training people. I was told at a young age, you do what you love, and the money will follow.
Yeah.
But you got to do things that you're passionate about and you love.
Yeah. Well, it definitely, everything that you do that I've experienced is always good energy, whether it's at the events, whether it's your music or the gym. I feel like, you bring a great energy, and, I really appreciate you taking the time on the podcast. I hope you come back. This is a great little short podcast to introduce TJ to you guys. He does some amazing work in the community. His gym is beautiful. I hope you do more of those open house gym workouts. So much fun. You had DJ Trenches there for the first one.
12-13 was the next one.
That's one. Highly recommend that. But yeah, I would love to give you a hug, brother.
Thank you, Paul. Fucking that.
Yeah. You can tell he can consume me with the hug.
Power squeeze.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you guys for watching, and we look forward to having you back on.
You have a powerful day.
Peace.